Take a roll of toilet paper and sow carrots, beets, or parsley. Toilet paper is sufficient for sowing vegetables with very tiny seeds. You don't need to buy more expensive seeds on so-called tapes. You can make your own seed tape. The tape is useful for sowing vegetables like carrots, parsley, beets, lettuce, or onions. Small seeds are often sown too densely into the soil. Elderly individuals also struggle with bending down. Using seed tape makes sowing easier. So, take a regular roll of toilet paper and compare it to a store-bought seed tape. It doesn't have seeds on it yet, but that's about to change. Unroll the paper and fold a few sheets. Once you have a substantial amount, lay them out on a table or countertop. Grab a spray bottle filled with water and moisten the spread-out paper. Its whiteness is an advantage, as it makes the seeds visible. The seeds will stick to the moist paper. Therefore, spray the paper evenly. It shouldn't be too wet or it might tear. Take the seeds. I have carrot seeds, but as I mentioned, they could be seeds of other vegetables. Sow them on the paper. Since they are visible on the paper, you won't sow them too densely, and you won't need to bend down. Most of the sewing work will be done now. Fold the paper with seeds in half and gently roll it. This homemade seed tape costs next to nothing, excluding the price of the seeds, of course. Now, all you need to do is go to the field and lay it out. Then cover it with soil, and you're done. In this case, carrots are sown. I don't have to spend hours bending down or endure the chill of the spring wind. Never plant garlic without this. Watch this video before planting your garlic. This will ensure large and healthy bulbs. Garlic doesn't have many pests, but one of them can significantly reduce yields. It's the onion fly, also known as the onion maggot. It emerges from the soil in early spring and lays eggs in immature onion and garlic shoots. Garlic cultivation is also affected by fungal diseases. That's why it's best to protect garlic from the moment of planting. First, prepare the soil. If you have wood ash, sprinkle it in the field where you want to plant garlic. It will provide essential nutrients and protect against pests. Take the garlic and separate the bulbs. Prepare all the cloves you have for planting. Discard damaged and small ones. Pour water into a second container. 1 liter is enough for this amount of cloves. Add a tablespoon of salt. Stir until the salt dissolves. Place the garlic cloves in this brine and soak them for at least 15 minutes. If possible, leave them for up to an hour. Then remove them and let them dry. Make holes in the soil with the end of a rake and place the garlic cloves in them. You can also plant garlic directly into the ground without preparing holes. Cover the garlic and you're done. This treated garlic will be protected from diseases and pests. You can also sow carrots between the garlic. These vegetables protect each other from pests. And this method works well when you have limited space in the garden, but still want to grow beautiful carrots without thinning. Let me show you how to prepare these containers for planting. Peel off the seal of each container, but don't throw them away. Pour some water into the bottom. You can do this indoors under the tap. After a while, they'll soften. Then you can make a hole in each compartment of the container. Once they dry, they're ready to use. While the containers will soften in moist soil, this method is good to start with. The seals will serve as bases. Fill the containers with soil. Take carrot seeds. The best ones to use are pelleted seeds. They're larger and easier to handle. I happen to have regular ones. You can also use this method for parsley or radish seeds. Place 1 seed in each compartment. Press them into the soil. Sow carrots into all the containers this way. Take the prepared containers to the field. If you have raised beds, this method works perfectly. Just line up the containers next to each other. I have 10 of them, so I'll arrange them in 2 rows of 5. Cover with a layer of soil and firm it down. You can also lay out the containers in rows and plant onions between them. This will ensure exceptionally successful yields. Just 1 fruit will make orchids burst with flowers. They'll grow like crazy. Fertilizer made from the peels of this fruit is the #1 tonic for orchids. Banana peels, as we're talking about, are like the elixir of youth for orchids. When you eat bananas, you peel them. The peels you usually throw away. That's a big mistake. You can make use of banana peels, so don't throw them in the trash. Bananas and their peels contain many substances that orchids love. These include potassium, phosphorus, calcium, silicic acid, and sulfur. This makes orchids healthy, with beautiful green leaves and roots. Plenty of buds also appear on them. Simply prepare a simple fertilizer from them. But before you do that, wipe the orchid leaves with the peel. This alone will nourish the orchids. The leaves will shine. Now you can prepare the fertilizer. Cut the banana peels into smaller pieces. 1 or 2 banana peels are enough. Transfer the chopped peels to a jar. Pour in a liter of warm water and close the jar. Leave the jar for a day. The next day, strain the peels. You can now water the orchids with this water. Just feed the orchids like this once every 2 weeks. You'll forget about any problems in their cultivation. Water from banana peels is not only suitable for watering, you can also wipe the orchid leaves with it. It's a versatile fertilizer, most suitable for orchids. You'll turn him into the best fertilizer for orchids. Crush the dried piece and pour hot water over it. Use this tea to water your flowers regularly once a month. It will revitalize every orchid. Buds and blooms will multiply like never before. You won't recognize your orchids. Their flowers will be even more beautiful. All thanks to dried banana peels. After eating bananas, don't throw away their peels. Just lay them out to dry on the radiator. You can also use the preheated oven after baking or cooking dinner. This fruit will make your orchids a picture of health, their roots will be nourished, and the leaves beautifully green. This fertilizer is the simplest way to fertilize orchids. It's a vital source of essential minerals like potassium, phosphorus, and calcium. It will save every orchid. Simply divide the dried banana peels into smaller pieces. Pour hot water over a portion of dried banana peels. Close the container. After brewing, let the infusion cool. Use this banana tea to water your orchids. It's a natural remedy that orchids adore. It's full of trace elements that orchids need. They will bloom beautifully all year round. I'm making orchid compresses, and it's developing more and more buds. With each passing year, it's getting more flower stems. The secret to growing such orchids is proper care. So don't throw away the banana peels after eating a banana. They're an incredibly valuable organic fertilizer for orchids. Banana peel contains plenty of potassium, which stimulates the flowers to bloom. You can use it for orchids every 2 weeks. It will nourish the leaves, strengthen the roots, and make the orchids bloom abundantly. Even just wiping the orchid leaves with a banana peel is incredibly useful. The leaves will become shiny and have a beautiful green color because of it. This way, you'll provide them with the necessary nutrients. To encourage bud development, use banana peel in another way. Cut it into smaller pieces. Pay attention to the flower stems and where new buds and flower shoots might appear. Take a piece of banana peel and frog clips. Wrap the banana around that spot. Such a compress will deliver the necessary nutrients exactly where they're needed. It will stimulate the orchids to produce new shoots and flowers. Thanks to these regular compresses, the orchids bloom like those of the best breeders. Remove the dressing after 6 hours. That's all. Repeat the procedure after 2 weeks.